What's my favorite pattern cutting book for really getting those flat cutting skills? Find out why I really recommend Winifred Altry's Metric Pattern Cutting. Hi, I'm Charlotta. I'm a professional pattern cutter and I started the School of Pattern Cutting to help you create your perfect wardrobe. In this video I'm going to look at Metric Pattern Cutting by Winifred Altry, which I think is one of the classic books on pattern cutting, and I'm going to show you why I think it's great. Let's have a look. Winifred Altry's Metric Pattern Cutting book was one of the books I used at university. She's also done some menswear one and a children's one, but the women's wear one is what you use in a lot of the degree courses for fashion design. So I'm going to just show you a quick overall view of how it works, how it teaches you, and why I think it works really well as a sort of good grounding, as a intermediate beginner maybe. So you've done some sewing, you've made some garments, but now you really want to sort of maybe do your blocks and find out how to recreate styles and how to recreate your own designs. So this is quite an old book, so some of the designs aren't that great, but it's the basics of it still really stand. So you can see it's got lots of different things. It starts with letting you do all the blocks, which I think is great. So it's got a whole section on how to both commercial measurements, but then it also shows you how to make a made to measure block, and it has lots of different blocks. So a fitted block, a wider block, a coat fitted block, and I thought that's really good for, so you can build up your whole collection of blocks, so you can create lots of different garments. The next thing in the book which I really like is where it's got a whole section on fitting issues. So you might be creating your made to measure block, but if you're working with either commercial patterns or with a commercial block, you're gonna sooner or later run across problems where stuff doesn't fit. And this book has lots of different issues, and it shows you on some quick diagrams how you can change each issue and describes it, and then it has a diagram on how to fix it. So we've got everything from tops, skirts and trousers, and then it's got a whole section where we flick through it quickly on just lots of different pattern designs you can do. So you can see there's lots of designs. I haven't counted them, but there must be at least 100. And I'm going to show you just a few pages which are a really good example of how the book works. So this is a really good example. You got these sort of very, I think they're 70s, quick flat drawings where you can see how the garment will look on a person, and they always have fantastic hair. I'm quite envious of the hair. But it shows you the front and the back when needed, which I think is really important because a garment is 3D, it goes on your body, it's not just flat. And then it has a quick description next to it with instructions, and then it's quite concise. It's not that detailed compared to the Hilary Campbell book, but it has got always the original block, what you need to do, and how you end up with your final pattern piece, and it sort of does it in different shading how it works. So it's that's why I think it's not a complete beginner's course, because I think that'd be quite confusing. You might have to sort of have a bit of understanding how pattern works and what a pattern is before you delve into this. But if you've done a few garments, or I've done like a short course in pattern cutting, or done watched some tutorials on how to do it, I think this is a really good book for advancing yourself. Because, for example, if you're interested in sleeves, can you see just how many sleeves are just on one page? And what I love about her way of putting everything on one page, you can sort of really see how if you do different things to a plait pattern, it's going to affect the cut in different ways. So even how if you just add volume at the crown, you get a lack of mutton or gathered head. But if instead of the gathered head, you add an extra bit, you get a seamed head, or you get a head with a insert. So it's all about similar methods doing really different stuff. So that's all on the basic bodice. So there's quite a lot on styles. So you can see how many, there's about 17 pages of just bodice block adaptation. So that's really good. And then she's got a whole new other section, how you can further adapt your basic bodice block. So here we're now going into things like jackets and even like trench coats. So it's quite off its time, but it's about how if you just have a basic bodice block rather than different block, how you can make your block wider, how you can change the fit of a sleeve, stuff like that, which I think are really helpful, because it can be quite confusing when you're first starting with, is I've got a really fitting block, how do I make a loose garment? So she goes through all of that and gives you instructions to how to do that. And even like really oversized styles, she shows you how to add the volume to get it done. So that's fantastic. And then she even has a section which is probably quite old-fashioned, but she's got a section on sleeve there. So it's only a double page, but what it actually is a basic course in bias flat cutting. So it's sort of, that's, I mean, it's a really comprehensive book. So if you're a complete beginner, it's probably a bit overwhelming, but if you've done a bit of pattern cutting, it's a really good book to try out. And then she even has a finer section on things like bikinis. I haven't tried them, but even if you're interested in contouring, it's just this sort of basic of how you create fit around your bust line and stuff like that. And what's quite nice is she's got block for jersey line to finish off, which I think is really important, because jersey behaves quite different to woven stuff. And then to finish off, she actually even got something for grading. So if you're interested to taking your pattern cutting a bit further, making a little collection, she even has a very comprehensive page on how you can grade your block. So these are the reasons why I would really recommend metric pattern cutting to anybody who is maybe starting a degree course, or just really thinking about creating their own wardrobe and wanting to sort of explore pattern cutting in a bit more detail. I think it's a book you can't go wrong. There's a few negatives, well, not negatives, but that's why I think it's not a beginner friendly book, is that it's completely black and white. So modern books of course have lots of photos which make it easier, and this book is a classic, but unlike the Hilary Campbell one, it hasn't got any color, so you have to sort of really interpret what different lines means. They got black and white shading, so that works to a certain degree, but it is very comprehensive. It's not that much detail or guides to help you, and that's my other sort of like the color, and there's a lot of information there, so it can be a bit overwhelming if you're just starting. But on the other hand, of course, it gives you lots of ideas. So if you have designed anything, you should be able to find a variation of that, of how you can adapt it to your own style. So it's sort of, the negatives are that it's not beginner friendly, I think. But that's also its positive, that it's giving you lots of information to advance your own pattern cutting. So this is my review of Winifred Altrich's metric pattern cutting. If you're into pattern cutting, also have a look at her menswear and children's wear. They're also really good. And I hope you enjoyed this review. I'd love to hear from you. What is your favourite pattern cutting book? Or have you got Winifred Altrich books? Do you like her? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so you don't miss my next book review or drafting video. But that's it for me for now. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.